Okay, I'm just gonna start recording with the front or camera or the rear camera, whichever one, but I was recording it like this instead of the selfie style. But as you can see, I'm at the old burying ground and it's got some wind here. Let's try this side then. Okay, out of the wind for a second anyways. But this is the town of Beaufort, North Carolina. And might be wondering what's so interesting about this place. Well, let's go in there and see if there is anything that's of interest. Kind of fun to walk through these old cemeteries sometimes, and this one could be pretty cool. In we go. Okay, here we are in the cemetery here. The old burying grounds, I call it. And look at number 4. And what they have here is they have a brochure. So you kind of focus there. There we go. Yeah, they have a brochure here that you can read and follow the numbers and read about each grave that they have listed. And this one's kind of interesting. The number 4 here was a child born in 1863, died in 1865, so 2 years old, named Vienna Dill. Says it died of yellow fever and was buried in a glass top casket. Legend tells us the grave was dug up by vandals and the body was seen to be intact. But when they opened the casket, the body disintegrated. Now that's what legend is. Whether that's true or not, we don't know. And that's the one here. Let's see how many they have. Looks like they got 28 graves here that they have in the brochure that you can read about. Of course, there's a lot more here, but the ones that are marked are like graves of interest. And I'll continue walking through here. It's a nice little seaside cemetery. And it's within walking distance of the North Carolina Maritime Museum. So if you park there, you can very easily walk over to here. But I'm going to continue on this little tour and see what we find. Okay, another little section here. This isn't even in the brochure that I can see anyways. But this is kind of interesting, and let's take and read that. Here lies the remains of the settlers killed during the Tuscarora Indian War, September 1711. Wow. Man. Oh! Man, we've had some rain here, and I just backed into some branches that are wet. But yeah, see that's the thing about this cemetery. It goes way back. So yeah, 1711. It's 306 years ago. Gosh. And man, they're not actually individually marked, so man. But let's see if we can find anything else of interest. Okay, I found another one that's kind of interest, interesting story behind it. So you can see it's number 15. I'll just kind of. Sarah Gibbs died in 1792, and Jacob Shepherd, he died in 1773. And Sarah was married to him, Jacob Shepherd, a seaman. His ship went to sea but never returned. He was presumed to be dead later. Then Sarah married Nathaniel Gibbs and had a child with him. After an absence of several years, the shipwrecked Jacob Shepherd unexpectedly returned to Beaufort to find his wife married to another man. The two men agreed that Sarah would remain with Gibbs as long as she lived, but must spend eternity at the side of Jacob's shepherd. So there they are, side by side, spending eternity. Oh man, that was an interesting story. Yeah. What year was that again? All right, number 15. Back in the 1700s. So, of course, you know, they didn't have communication like they have nowadays, and it took a long time to get to places. Oh boy, let's head on some more. Let's hope there's some more. As you notice, you know, I'm not stopping to read all of them. At least not filming them all, because you know I got to leave something for you, and plus it'll take too much time. Let's see if we can find number 16. Let's see where. But oh well. If it's number 16 is interesting, I'll tell you. But otherwise, let's head on. Let's continue. Okay, I want to mention this guy here. You can kind of see his name there, William Thompson. Okay, and I'll read from the brochure here. Colonel William Thompson, 1732, 1802. That's when he was born and died. He was the highest ranking officer from Beaufort to serve in the American Revolution. He was declared the most influential merchant of his day. He served the town, county, and province in many offices and was a delegate to the Provincial Congress at Halifax in 1776 and to the Constitutional Convention at Hillsborough 1788. So this guy was here at the beginning of the country. He took part in it. Man, that's really something in the American Revolution itself, and also the Constitutional Convention. Man, that's amazing. And here he lies in this cemetery. Amazing. Okay, number 19 is really interesting. British naval officer buried standing in salute to His Majesty King George III. And I'll read what it says on here. A British officer from the 1700s. It doesn't say exact date, but anyways, in the 1700s. The grave of an officer in His Majesty's Navy who died on board ship in the port of Beaufort. Not wanting to be buried with his boots off, he was buried standing up in full uniform. And I have a little poem here or something here. Resting neath a foreign ground, here stands a sailor of Mad George's crown, name unknown, and all alone, standing the rebels' ground. Brantley, that's what it says there. And you can see this grave's just a square, so because he's standing. Amazing. Wow. And on we go. It's a really nice cemetery, isn't it? Just look at it. The history of the people here. Fascinating. Okay, number 22 is kind of a interesting story here. I'll take it. Captain Otway Burns, born in 1775, died in 1850. I'm reading off of the brochure again. Historians say he was one of North Carolina's greatest naval heroes in the War of 1812. He received letters of marque and reprisal from the United States, which had only a small navy. He sailed from Nova Scotia to South America, plundering British ships. It is said he captured cargo worth more than $2 million on one trip alone. His tomb is surmounted by a cannon taken by his privateer, Snapdragon. Wow. After the war, Captain Burns was a member of the North Carolina legislature. Later, a grateful state made him lightship keeper near Portsmouth. He died there and was brought by Sharpie to Beaufort for burial. The town of Burnsville in the mountains of North Carolina was named for Otway Burns, and a statue of him stands in the center of that town square. Wow. That's really something. That cannon there is from his actual ship. Isn't that cool? Gotta touch it. Man, look at that. Oh, they got centipedes or something. Pooh! Okay. Wow. Wow. But yeah, that cannon come from his ship. Man, that's cool. So we got a historical artifact and his grave. Wow. Let's move on. Okay, now what is this? What in the world? Check this grave out. Look at all that. And it's number 24. Let's find the why all that's there. Okay. It says here, I'm reading from the brochure, girl in barrel of rum. Here is the grave of a girl buried in a barrel of rum. In the 1700s, an English family, including an infant daughter, came to Beaufort. The girl grew up with a desire to see her homeland and finally persuaded her mother to allow her to make the voyage. Her father promised his wife he would return the girl safely. The girl enjoyed her visit to London, but died on the voyage home. She would have been buried at sea, but her father could not bear to break his promise. He purchased a barrel of rum from the captain, placed her body in it, and brought it to Beaufort for burial. Man alive. That's really quite a story. And that's why all those toys and stuff are there. Man. You got toys, you got seashells there, stuffed animals. And there's no name here either, as far as I can see. There's nothing in this brochure that says anything about a name. Number 24, no name at all. It's just amazing. Can you only imagine what? I wonder how her mom reacted when they got home. But as you can see, with all the gifts laying there, people are really quite touched by it. They really feel for her. So, but there's another quite interesting story here at the old burying grounds in Beaufort, North Carolina. Okay, and that was the old burying grounds here in Beaufort, North Carolina. And of course, there's a ton of other graves there to look at. I only gave the small sample, but there's a whole much more. And it's really a good place to come in and stop, I think. Like history, kind of tell you stories about some of the people. Of course, it's like those stories that I told you. Really amazing, but anyways, that's it for this section of the video, and I don't know what's going to come up next, so keep on watching.